Liverpool 4, Bournemouth 2. What a game. What a result. What an emotional roller coaster that was from start to finish. I'm doing this right after the game has ended, and I'm like, still haven't come down yet from that last few minutes. But God, what a win. This team just does not know how to lie down. And as much as we almost blew it, we won it. But let's go back to the beginning and that wonderful tribute to Diogo, the first league game of the season, for everyone to express their love for him and Andre and the family. And it was a gorgeous mural and tribute, an impeccable 1 minute silence. Thank you, Bournemouth fans, for that. Very emotional for everybody. I think I went through every emotion possible today during that game. So anyway, the players, you've got to remember, the players are feeling this. They're feeling that loss. They're going through that. We're all almost in tears at the beginning of the game. They've got to get themselves up and perform. And you know, anyway, let's get on to the actual game. So we started with all 4 new outfield players. So Kerkez got the nod at left back, Frimpong at right back, and of course Wirtz and Ekitike in the forward positions. I think the story of the first half was the story of what we've seen throughout the pre-season, in that we look absolutely dynamite going forward and did some really, truly wonderful stuff. And we looked so suspect at the back. And we didn't concede in the first half. I thought we might get a clean sheet here. First one since Stoke in pre-season. But anyway, the first half started with us on the front foot. Ekitike had a bit of a pot shot, but it was a bit hopeful, to be honest. But then he sets up Mo Salah. Mo Salah curls one, keeper brilliantly tips it over the bar, and you're thinking, right, we're at it, we're on it. Bournemouth have got 3 new defenders in the back 4 and a new goalkeeper who was a reserve goalkeeper at Chelsea. So I'm thinking, oh, this is going the right way. Then Bournemouth hit us on the counter a couple of times and they sky one over the bar and looked really impressive in their counter-attacks, and we look sloppy again when teams counter us. We're certainly missing Gravenberch in that defensive midfield role. We missed him again today. I must say, I thought McAllister was superb throughout the whole game, but we don't have that blanket coverage that Gravenberch gives when he's not there. Then we got the first, and I'm going to call it, anti-Liverpool decision from the referees and VAR. 12 minutes into the first game. First of all, Anthony Taylor doesn't give it, and you know what, I'll let him off with that because it wasn't that obvious, but it went to VAR, and it's Michael Oliver, the same Michael Oliver who last season tried to take points off both Liverpool and Arsenal. He did things last season that were clearly designed to hamper Arsenal and Liverpool, and he did it again today. That was a disgraceful decision and an even more disgraceful explanation. What, did you think it was stupid? Saying that, oh, it was a double hit on his arm? He clearly poured the ball away because Ekitike was going through. And then the bollocks on the media, oh, well, was it really a goal scoring opportunity? Of course it was. He wasn't getting caught. Ekitike was clean through if that handball didn't happen. It should have been a red card. And Michael Oliver, once again, that's corruption. I'm sorry, there's no other way to call that. When he's got a history, since he went and refereed over in the Middle East, he's got a history of anti-Liverpool and anti-Arsenal decisions, and that's another one. Sorry, but I had to call it out. Can't do this review without bringing that to people's attention because it's a disgrace. I want to hear what the PGMOL have got to say about that one. Anyway, on to better things. 20 minutes, the crowd rise in celebration of Diogo and his, and more goosebumps as his song is boomed out. Then we had an unsavoury event. None of us knew what was going on, where the game gets stopped. Anthony Taylor goes to the sideline. It's apparently for a racist comment aimed at one of the Bournemouth players. And let me just say here and now, if you're going to Anfield as a Liverpool fan and you are going to shout racist abuse to anybody, get out of our club. Just get out. Do not go again. I hope they get you and I hope they ban you for life. What are you doing? Shout racist abuse at black players? Have you not noticed that we've got a few? You're a disgrace. And I hope you're banned. And I hope anybody who does it gets banned for life. And I hope you're named and called out so everybody knows that it was you. Alright, trying to get back to the game here. And the game was going through a bit of a lull. It was getting quite scrappy. Bournemouth were up for it. They were challenging for everything, fighting for everything. And then McAllister gives the ball to Ekitike. He tries to run through the defender. It bobbles back to him and he calmly slots it home and he scores on his debut. And there was a touch of Luis Suarez about that. The ball seems to ricochet back to him, and there are certain players that seems to happen to, and he's one of them. It's happened a couple of times, but his first half performance was silky touches. He was a threat. He headed a couple over the bar in the game, one immediately after he scored. It was a bit of a difficult chance, so it wasn't something that you would say he missed another header, because it was a bit over the top of him and he had to stretch for it. And you're thinking, right, we're up and running. We've won 9 and drawn 3 of our last 12 opening day fixtures. So we're looking good here for number 10. So half time, it's 1-0. It was fairly even in terms of play, but we did have 4 shots on target to Bournemouth's 1. So we were good value for a half-time lead. The one other glaring issue in the first half was Milos Kerkez, who was all at sea many times in that first half. He was making the wrong runs. He wasn't anticipating players running past him, and he ended up with a quite ludicrous challenge that got him a yellow card when it was not required at all. He could have shepherded the winger towards the corner flag and he goes flying in, and he had a first half to forget, to be honest. And I'll say it, the lad's 21. I'm not going to call him out saying he's not good enough. Of course he's going to be good enough, but at age 21, playing against your old team on the opening day of the season, he was clearly overawed by the whole situation, and he wasn't playing the game that he played last season for Bournemouth, and I was pretty certain he was going to go off at half time, but Arne Slot left him on. Anyway, on to the second half. Ekitike started as he ended the first half. He was on the ball straight away. He created a chance. He headed one over again, and then he gives the ball to Gakpo. He does his little thing where he runs across the box, beating about 2 or 3 players, and he fires it home. And we were well on top at this stage. So it's 2-0. Now we can relax. Yeah, as if. Straight away, the crowd are up. McAllister hits one, it's tipped over the bar, and you're thinking, this could be 3 or 4 or 5. Unless we take our foot off. And guess what? We took our foot off. Which we do too often, and I say it, and I say it, and I say it, and it's got to stop. It started with us just slowing the pace. And then because we slowed the pace, we then started to lose out on all the duels in the 50-50s, and Bournemouth got the upper hand. Arne Slot got it wrong in that second half. He got away with it, but he got it wrong. Because at 2-0, he took off Kerkez for Robbo, good move, and he took off Frimpong to put Endo as right back. Not a good move. We have players that have specialist positions, and we have a big squad of players who have specialist positions, and Endo is not a right back, and we got caught out almost immediately. Szoboszlai tries some fancy trick that doesn't come off. The ball is played up the left wing. Endo's nowhere. He's not the fastest anyway, and they've got fast strikers. Konate's pulled across. They swing the ball in. Robbo and Virgil are both outpaced, and Iberia with their second shot on target the entire game in the 63rd minute, and it's 2-1. And it's like, why did we do that? We kick off at 2-1, and Bournemouth absolutely take it to us. They were peppering our goal. They were running us ragged. We couldn't get out. We couldn't find a pass. When we did get the ball, we gave it back to them, and you're thinking, this is not good. This is only going to go one way here. And sure enough, anyway, Slot did react. He took off McAllister and Ekitike. McAllister couldn't last 90 minutes anyway, and he put Joe Gomez as right back, and he moved Endo into the middle, and it did look more solid for a few minutes. But then we're now on the front foot, trying to get that third goal, and guess what? Bournemouth, a quick break, they completely walk through our midfield. They're 4-on-3 against our defence, who were backtracking, and he backtracked so much that no one even got a tackle in, and Semenyo just walked towards the 20-yard line and just put it past Alisson, and it was like the Red Sea opened, and it was worrying. It's a concern irrespective of the result of the game, that we were broken on so easily, and from 2-0 it's now 2-2. 70 minutes, Bournemouth are in the ascendancy. They've just made it 2-2, and so can this Liverpool team come back? Well, of course they can, because that's what they're all about. We might have had a few debutants today. New players are trying to bed in, but we have that winning mentality. It took a while, but we started to wrest control back of the game. Bournemouth are quite happy because they're 2-2, and they're thinking, this'll do. What a great point this is if we get away with it. And they didn't, because in the meantime, Arne Slot brought on Federico Chiesa, and a bit of a melee in the box. It bounces off a couple of Bournemouth players, and he volleys it home in the 83rd minute, and the place erupts, and our house erupts. I couldn't believe it, and what a moment for him. My God, that lad has been put through it. He was basically ignored last season. The crowd love him. He's got a brilliant song, and he's a cult hero of mine. He'll always be a cult hero, no matter what happens going forward. But that was a moment. That was a career moment for him, and I'm chuffed for him. Straight away, Bournemouth get 2 corners in a row. I'm almost hiding behind the couch. I wanted to go to the toilet just so I could waste a minute and hope nothing happened, but I didn't. I watched it, and we're counting it down. We're counting down. We're into the 93rd minute. We've only got 3 minutes left to survive, and the ball gets fired out by Endo to no man's land on their right back area, and their right back decides to plod along to get it, while Mo Salah bombs across the pitch and beats him to it. It was fantastic from Mo. And then he wakes up, but it's too late. Mo dances into the box. He's on his right foot, and he thinks, well, you know what? I always scored on the opening day. So he curls it into the bottom corner for 4-2. And it's his 10th opening day goal. And he goes joint fourth on the all-time list of Premier League goal scorers. Because he's Mo Salah. And that's what he does. And of course, Mo does the Diogo celebration. The crowd boom out the Diogo song, and the emotions are just going mad. We're going mad in this house. I'm sure you were going mad wherever you were in the world watching that. And the whistle goes, no one even notices that it goes, and we win the game 4-2. What a game, what a win. We almost threw it away. Clearly, we have to look at the defensive side of things, but I think the return of Ryan Gravenberch is going to be huge in that department. Arne Slot has to think about the left-back area. I'll say it again, I said that after the Crystal Palace game, I think Kerkez needs to be brought along this season and not thrown in every game as a starter. I thought Frimpong was excellent. Those who said he's just as poor a defender as his predecessor don't know what they're talking about, because he's a little terrier and he never lets anyone get past him, and he's up and down that wing like you wouldn't believe. Ekitike looks the real deal up front. Wirtz had his moments, wasn't the greatest game, but he had so many silky passes. I thought McAllister was outstanding for a lad who's been out for a long time. The 70 minutes that he put in, he excelled. Kanate was well off it. Virgil was okay, but not at his very best. The outball to Salah is a clear ploy, with most of the Liverpool forward line tending to be on the left side of the pitch. That's Wirtz, even Szoboszlai to an extent, but Ekitike, Gakpo, they're leaving Mo Salah with an awful lot of room on the right. And that outball from Virgil worked time and time again. Not every time, but most of the time. Salah was far better than he had been in the Crystal Palace game and in a couple of the other pre-season games, but he looked sharp, he looked quick, and his brain works faster than most other players anyway. So he's going to have another great season, you know. He's going to be up there for Golden Boot and most assists. I just know he is. So we get it out the way. The opening game, we're top of the league. We've scored 4 goals. Pretty much mimicked what pre-season was. In pre-season, we averaged almost 3.5 goals per game, and we averaged conceding almost 2 goals per game. And that's exactly how today panned out. We can't go on like that in defence. We can't. And there is work to do, but you know, who knows what's going to happen in the next week or two. Is Mark Gahey coming in? We've already got the young lad who just joined us yesterday. Is Alexander Isak still to come in? Both of them, I would probably say, are more likely than not. And once they do, that strengthens us even further. So, all's well that ends well. This team never knows when to lie down. That's why it's the greatest club in the world. That's why we're the biggest and best club in England. And it's why we're the champions and we're top of the league. And the job now is to stay there. And I wouldn't bet against the fact that we do. You'll never walk alone. See you after the next one. Cheers. Ta-ra.